All right, so mastery. This is where you get to show me how much you know. Okay. And so at mastery, I'll be able to throw anything and everything at you. Okay. You will have your alphabet diagrams in the class, which will be the long boards for this. All right. Um, and so I'm just going to put down 2 examples down here to go through with you. So we have manganese and we have uranium. All right. So we got to do a little work before we get this going. Let's go back to our periodic table. Let's make sure that you have colored up your orbitals and you've labeled them S, P, D, and F. And those are all lowercase. Okay? If you need to, you can feel free to go over here and label this 6 and 7 because sometimes the kids want to be able to see the numbers on both sides. Okay? Then, the other thing we need to do, we already talked about that on the d orbital, it's shifted up. So even though I'm coming through here and I hit argon, potassium, calcium, then scandium, this whole block here is shifted down 1 energy level. Okay, so they actually begin on 3, 4, 5, and 6. So make sure you have that marked. Then your F block, which fits in right here, it doesn't begin on 5 and 6. It actually begins on 4 and 5. So make sure you have that labeled. Then the last thing that we need to have labeled on here, however you would like to do this, but you need to have some way of marking. I'll try and brighten mine up. Okay. Oops. All right, there we go. The exceptions. So within the D and the F block, there are exceptions to the rule. And honors kids, you'll be expected to definitely know the exceptions. Okay. Academic, you're expected to know where they're at. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, this block here is a normal block because this is going to be your D5. But this block right here in front of it will also be a D5, but it will be an S1. So it's going to rob from the S block right in front of it to get a D5 configuration. So let's mark that. We will also see this. This is a D10, but this is also a D10 configuration. And as we saw with the D5, this is an S1 because it's going to rob from the S block in front of it. And when I say in front of it, I mean this row. If it's on this row, it's this one in front of it. This row is the one in front of it. And this row in front of it. Okay? So it robs from the S block to have a full configuration. Its stability is what it is. So let's mark that. Then we'll also see that in the F block as well. All right, so I'll start with my ending first. So this is going to be an F14. So will this. Just like we saw D block, it's an F14 S1. And then let's go find our halfway point. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this block will be F7, S2. This block here will be an F7, S1. Okay? Now that you have that marked, let's go do some practice. So we have manganese. When the first question they want to ask you is the end point. So go to your periodic table, find manganese, D block. We would say it's on row 4, but it's in the D block. So my endpoint is going to be 3D, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're going to say 3D bio. And so now we're going to do our configuration. 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6. We would only have 4s2, but I know I got to slide in a 3d5 into it. So 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, 3d5, 4s2. All right, time to do our shorthand. Here's manganese, up, over, is argon, argon is 3p6. So, argon. Now, I need to write 3d5, 4s2. At this point of the periodic table, it's pretty easy because it's right there where my cut is. When we get into the intertransition metals, that may not always be the case, and that's where your alphabet diagram comes into play. Okay? One more example with y'all before I give this all to y'all to do. Uranium. So uranium is here. There we go. It's in the 5 block. So 5F, 1, 2, 3, 4. 5F, 4. We have our endpoint, right? So, oops, I don't want to do that. 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6. I'm going to go transfer this over there right now. 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6. Oh no, just lost my periodic table. It's okay, we got it. All right, here we go. So I was at 3p6, that's where I ended. So I know I've got 3d10. I'll take care of that. 4s2, 4p6, 5s2. But I want to fit in a 4d10 here to go through that row there. Then a 5p6. All right, let's go write this down. So 3d10, 4s2, 4p6, 4p6 gets me here. So then 5s2, 4d10, it's got to go in front, and 5p6. Okay, 5p6 gets me here. All right, now 6s2 with a 5t10, but I also have this 4F14 that's got to fit in there now too. So I got to put in a 4F14, 5D10, and as you can see, this is where it starts getting a little, and then we got to do our 6S2, 6P6, final bit, 7S2, but I also have a 5F, 1, 2, 3, 4, to fit in there. So 5F4, okay. Now you should count out your electrons and make sure they are correct. Let's go look at your shorthand. So uranium, oops, uranium fits right here. So up and over 6P6 radon. Now, this is where your alpha pictures are really, really helpful. Okay, but I don't have one on this computer. So here's radon. I need to write everything after that. So I need to write 5F4, 7S2. 5F4, 7S2. Okay, I will share with you which ones are yours for mastery. If you can handle this, you have mastered electron configuration. Live long and prosper.